the work that you've done, right? These paths that you've pursued, and I've heard a lot of your stories as to how those have come about and why, and sort of these constant questions. What I love is your willingness to ask the questions and then follow the quest that continues to unfold in front of you. So let's entertain folks and a day in the life of Les Jensen. Like what as you pursue these quests in your mind and these rabbit holes that you go, I like to follow the white rabbit, right, and see where it takes you. What if you could wave your magic wand and tell people like what that experience is like for you as an invitation for them to have it for themselves? How would you do that for them?
Wow. It's if you're not afraid to ask the big questions, then you're willing to at least see the big problems. I was going to use an example of anger, but actually in the last couple of months of last year, I bumped up against pain, just raw, solid, intense pain. Now, when we think about anger in the masculine archetype, there's road rage or rage in and of itself, perhaps a sense of hopelessness, and an emotional event of anger or pain is an immense amount of energy that really intimidates us, and we want to shut it down. And I realized recently that pain or anger, pick one, is such an uncomfortable feeling. But the reason that is that we don't process it as we go along, and we accumulate and accumulate. And then when we have it, it's this very intense event. I'm trying to understand the mechanism of these things in a healthy dynamic, which might not be modeled completely on this planet yet. But the idea of having them momentary events where we release them and we don't accumulate, and we always come down to a baseline of close to zero. And so we take the energy out of them. And the way we do that is we heal our relationship with them. I mean, how many times, your kid falls down, and who hasn't been told suck it up or, whatnot. And we form this galvanized polarity, this avoidance really. And that's what gets it to accumulate in our psyche. And then fast forward a few decades, we have no skill set with it. And every time these emotional events come up, it tips our card over. Well, that's not very, it's not very powerful. It's not very dynamic. But, anger, I know a lot won't agree with me. Anger is a really cool emotion because it's showing you when the anger comes up, it says, here's an incongruency in your life. Here's the problem. And here's this really raw, rich, powerful energy, the anger itself. Here's the problem. Here's the fuel. And so anger in a healthy dynamic is a relatively simple and easy thing to execute in the moment to push through our problems. And it brings with us very powerful energy to institute the change the anger is asking of us.
Beautifully said. I love that. And that's, folks, for those things that you've been storing up, this is great advice, right? Most of us are fairly decent in managing our day-to-day existence without exploding, right? It's kind of how you get through life. But there are those things, and through the pandemic, I think those things got real raw for a lot of us, real exposed. And so maybe our tempers are a little shorter than they used to be. Maybe our 0 to 60 is a little bit quicker when we get enraged or upset or whatever the case may be. And so it's becoming challenging, I think, for some folks to learn how to manage that. What Les is talking about is really valuable when you feel that coming forward and those bundled up emotions. Thank you for that, Les. And I love, and that's how it works. Like you observe yourself, right? This is happening in me. The harmonizing of your own contradictions, folks, is the game. It's the entire game. We are a mess of contradictions, and we want them all of them, and we don't want to give up any of them. Cool. Don't. figure out how to work with all of them, right? You got to make space for all of them then. And you have to be willing to know yourself as all of them. I am both the person getting angry and the one that doesn't like that I get angry. Done. End of story. Got it. I'm both. Get bigger than that. Be both. So, okay, how do I want to manage these energies? Because there's gifts in all of them, right? We've got folks working with the friction, right? Fielding the friction or feeling it and using it in their creative pursuits, right? When these are the precursors to being able to work with that huge, immense energy that Les is talking about, that creative energy as it starts at its pure form. Folks, you get that and you can feel that at your roots, you're riding that puppy all the way up, right? That's a ride and that's a game. And you can do that only when you are practiced in allowing these things to move through your system, to move through those constrictions, to move through all that stuff you've been storing because you haven't been wanting to do it before now. The longer you wait, the more painful the process. The life review is terrifying because we wait so long. We wait till we're dead. Do it now. It's much easier, okay? So follow Les's advice. Feel your feels, folks. We all got them in there. Let's give folks a last minute little tidbit here on okay, so we've been all about the emotions day. This is how we are uplifting humanity. What can people do with that energy that's positive? What can we do instead of just resisting it? What can we give them that they can use that energy for? What would you recommend?
Let's try the idea of joy and excitement. Think about what you want and what would get you excited about your future? What would feel joyful to you? If you want to end up enjoying your life, practice experiencing joy today. To think about the idea of your future that would get you excited and can bring you a sense of excitement and joy. To spend time doing that today will put you in fine practice to feeling joy tomorrow. And if you keep that up, you just might end up enjoying your life.
Brilliant. And that's not to say the feels aren't real, folks. The investment is, though, also, right? The investment is also. And so do that as well. Les, I can't thank you enough for coming back on the show. Especially for your work on behalf of all of humanity, your work at standing up as a man of co-creation who's willing to see beyond himself and into a bigger vision that includes spaces for all of us. Les, we really thank you for being you and having the courage to follow your questions and to encourage others to do the same.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Oh, well, it's always been fun here at the Science is Superpowers. Les, go check out Les's work. We've got links on the episode page, and make sure you're getting over to superpowerexperts.com to find out how you can work with some of these energetics in exciting ways so you can enjoy your life. Les Jensen has been here today, and we've been talking about uplifting humanity. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Until next time, we love you. Love each other. Goodbye for now.